You make decent money, more than you did 5 years ago, maybe significantly more. And yet, open your bank account right now. Look at that number. Be honest with yourself. Does it reflect 5 years of earning? Does it show any real progress? Or does it look almost identical to what it looked like when you were making less? The apartment got nicer, the car got newer, the dinners got more expensive, the subscriptions quietly multiplied, the wardrobe upgraded itself somehow. Everything rose to meet the income, and yet the margin, that gap between what comes in and what actually stays, never materialized. Meanwhile, you know people who earn less than you with 6 figures invested, people your age buying property while you're still trying to figure out what a meaningful emergency fund even looks like. What do they know that you don't? Here's the uncomfortable answer. There is no secret. There's just a system, a specific way of allocating every dollar before lifestyle has a chance to consume it. The wealthy don't manage money better because they have more of it. They have more of it because they managed it better first. The habits come before the wealth, always. Today, I'm giving you the exact framework. It's called the 15-50-20-15 rule. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to set it up this week, regardless of what you currently earn. Let's get into it. Before the framework, this idea needs to land completely. Your income is not your problem. Your system, or more accurately, your lack of one, is your problem. Over 60% of Americans earning 6 figures still live paycheck to paycheck. 6 figures! They make more than the vast majority of people in this country, and they're still financially stuck, just with better furniture. How is that possible? Because spending expands to fill available income. It's not a character flaw. It's not laziness. It's just what happens when money arrives in your account with no pre-assigned destination. Lifestyle absorbs it, all of it, every raise, every bonus, every side income, absorbed. The 1% avoid this not because they have more willpower. They avoid it because they've built systems that make the right decisions automatic. The money moves before they see it, before lifestyle can reach it, before the decision even gets made. That's what this framework does. It takes the decision out of your hands entirely and hands it to a system that runs without you. Every dollar you earn gets divided into 4 buckets. Nothing sits around waiting for a purpose. Nothing gets absorbed by accident. Here's how it breaks down. 15% goes to your future self, investments that compound over decades. 50% goes to essentials, the true cost of keeping life running. 20% goes to lifestyle, the things that make life actually enjoyable. 15% goes to your stability fund, the cushion that protects everything else. 15, 50, 20, 15. You've probably seen other rules before, the 50, 30, 20, the 70, 20, 10. They all try to solve the same problem, but most of them make a critical mistake. They either underfund investing, ignore the emergency fund entirely, or lump everything together in ways that let lifestyle creep go completely unchecked. The 15-50-20-15 rule fixes this by treating both future wealth and financial stability as non-negotiable while still giving you real room to enjoy your life right now. Let's break down each bucket. This is the money that works while you sleep, the money that compounds, the money that eventually makes work optional. Most people treat investing as something that happens with leftovers, whatever remains after bills, after lifestyle, after the unexpected expense that always shows up. That's supposedly what goes to the future, which means nothing goes to the future because nothing ever remains. The 1% flip this completely. The first money that moves when income arrives goes directly to investments, not last, first, before lifestyle sees it, before you clock that it's sitting there looking spendable. Here's why the math on this is brutal. Someone who invests $300 a month starting at 25 will have roughly $1.2 million by 65, assuming average market returns around 10%. Someone who waits until 35 and invests the exact same amount ends up with around $500,000. Same monthly contribution, 10-year delay, $700,000 difference. That's not a small gap. That's a retirement gone because of waiting. So where does the 15% actually go? Start with tax-advantaged accounts. In 2026, you can contribute up to $24,500 annually to a 401k. If your employer matches contributions, that's a 100% return before your investment grows a single dollar. There is no investment on earth that beats that. Max the match first, always. After that, a Roth IRA. Money goes in after taxes and grows completely tax-free. When you withdraw in retirement, you owe nothing on the gains. Nothing. Once those accounts are maxed, additional investments go into a standard brokerage account. What do you actually buy? Keep it simple. A low-cost index fund tracking the S&P 500 or the total stock market. No stock picking, no timing the market, no expertise required. Historically, these funds have averaged around 10% annually over long periods. Set up automatic monthly purchases. The 15% transfers the moment your paycheck arrives. You never see it. You never decide whether this month feels like a good month to invest. The system handles it every time. Half your income, maximum, goes to the things that actually keep life running. Housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance, minimum debt payments, the baseline cost of existence. Notice what's not on that list. Restaurants, entertainment, subscriptions, new clothes beyond bare necessities, the gym, coffee shops, those are lifestyle, and they belong in a different bucket with a hard ceiling. Most people blur this line constantly. They tell themselves dining out is essential because they need to eat. They count the streaming services as essential because what else are they supposed to do? That's how 50% becomes 65%, then 70%, and then they're genuinely confused about why nothing is left. The 50% cap forces honesty. It requires actually distinguishing between what keeps you alive and what keeps you comfortable. Comfort is fine, it just has its own bucket. Two categories deserve the most attention here: housing and transportation. These are where lifestyle creep does the most damage, because the dollar amounts are large and the decisions feel permanent. Housing should stay below 25 to 30% of your income. In expensive cities, that might mean roommates, a longer commute, or a smaller space than you'd prefer. The discomfort is temporary. The financial margin it creates is permanent. Transportation is the silent wealth killer. The average new car payment in 2026 exceeds $760 monthly. Add insurance, fuel, maintenance, and parking, and you're looking at over $1,000 monthly to own a depreciating asset. Buy used, buy reliable, buy something that gets you from A to B without draining your compounding capacity. The status you project with an expensive car impresses people who don't matter, while costing your future self hundreds of thousands in lost compound growth. Here's where most financial advice goes wrong. It treats every non-essential dollar as a problem to eliminate. It builds a framework of restriction that feels like punishment, and then people abandon the whole system because building wealth starts to feel like it requires giving up life entirely. The 1% don't live like monks. They spend money on things they genuinely enjoy. They just do it within defined limits that protect their long-term trajectory. 20% of your income is yours to spend without guilt. Restaurants, travel, hobbies, entertainment, the things that make life actually enjoyable. This isn't an afterthought. It's a built-in component of the system, planned, pre-funded, guilt-free. Studies consistently show that people who build small indulgences into financial plans stick with those plans far longer than people who try to eliminate all discretionary spending. Extreme restriction leads to collapse. Sustainable systems include room for enjoyment. The key is separation. Open a dedicated account for lifestyle spending. When the paycheck arrives, 20% transfers there automatically. That's your money for the month. When it's gone, it's gone. You wait for next month. This does two things. It makes spending feel guilt-free because you know the other buckets are already funded, and it creates a natural limit that prevents lifestyle from quietly expanding beyond what the system can support. Spend it on experiences over things. Vacations create memories that last. Dinners with people you care about strengthen relationships. Physical objects provide a burst of satisfaction that fades within days. The 20% goes further when it's directed towards things that genuinely improve your life, rather than just filling space. This is the bucket most people skip, and it's why most systems collapse the first time something goes wrong. Without a buffer, everything is fragile. One job loss, one medical bill, one transmission failure, and suddenly you're pulling from investments at the worst time, running credit card debt at 24% interest, watching years of progress unwind because there was no shock absorber. The final 15% builds and maintains a stability fund equal to 5 months of essential expenses. Not total expenses, essential expenses, the 50% bucket we already calculated. If your essentials run $2,000 a month, your target is $10,000. If they run $3,500, you're aiming for $17,500. Why 5 months? Because real emergencies rarely resolve quickly. Job searches take time. Medical recoveries take time. The crises that actually threaten financial stability aren't solved in 2 weeks. 5 months gives you the breathing room to handle problems without panic or permanent damage. This money lives in a high-yield savings account, earning 4 to 5% APY from an online bank, not the 0.01% your traditional bank is quietly offering. Liquid, accessible within 24 hours, zero risk, earning something while it waits. 3 rules for this account. It must be easy to access, no penalties, no waiting periods. It must carry zero risk, stocks don't belong here, neither does crypto. And it must earn something. Inflation quietly erodes cash parked in zero-interest accounts. Once you hit your stability fund target, this 15% redirects to investments, more compounding, faster growth. But until that cushion exists, it's the priority. It's what protects everything else. The 1% don't rely on willpower. They don't make monthly decisions about what to save or skip. They build systems that execute automatically, then focus their energy entirely on earning more. Here's the implementation. The day your paycheck arrives, automatic transfers are already scheduled. 15% moves immediately to investment accounts. 15% moves to the high-yield savings account. 20% moves to the lifestyle spending account. The remaining 50% stays in checking for essentials. By the time you log in, the money is already gone, already allocated. The decision was made in advance. The system ran without your involvement. You never see the full paycheck sitting there looking spendable. That's the point. Set this up once. Review it quarterly to make sure the percentages still fit your situation. Then shift your attention to the only thing that actually accelerates everything, increasing your income. When income grows while lifestyle stays fixed, the 15% going to investments gets larger without any change in behavior. That's the acceleration. Systems create the foundation. Income growth pours fuel on it. Here's what it all comes down to. Most people were never taught how money works, not in school, probably not at home. The knowledge that separates wealth builders from paycheck-to-paycheck earners simply wasn't passed down. That's not a moral failing, it's an information gap. But information gaps can be closed. The 15-50-20-15 rule is not complicated. It doesn't require a finance degree. It doesn't require a high income. It requires a decision and one afternoon to set up the accounts and schedule the transfers. 1 year from now, if you implement this today, you will be in a materially different financial position. Not because anything dramatic happened, but because a system ran quietly in the background, doing the right thing every single month without needing your attention. 5 years from now,
the compound effects will be undeniable. 20 years from now, you'll understand exactly how people build wealth that looks impossible from the outside. It was never a secret, it was always a system. Now you have one. If this gave you clarity, share it with someone who needs it. And if you want the full breakdown of financial literacy, compound interest, debt, credit, retirement accounts, that video is linked right now, because this system only works completely when you understand the why behind every piece of it. See you there.